Today it's time for a best of 3 series of top level StarCraft 2. It's time for a Protoss versus Terran between two channel favorites, as none other than ByuN is taking on Hero. Both of these guys, absolute legends. Now I think we can all sort of expect what ByuN wants to do. ByuN usually plays a rather passive PvT these days, but you never really truly know what sort of flavor of Hero's playstyle you're going to get. Hero really has been mixing it up so much lately that I don't even really know what the standard is. He wins the vast majority of his Protoss versus Terrans though, and I don't even really think that he has a plan going into the game. Most people have at the very least an idea as to what they want to do, but Hero seems to be very, let's call it free-spirited. I think that's reasonable. Most people kind of play this game like it's a spreadsheet. Hero, not so much. And, well, sometimes that does mean you play the game in a bit of a clumsy way. You end up making yourself look a little bit foolish. But most of the time, I mean, at the very least, judging by all of the Hero tournament wins lately, most of the time, it does work out very nicely for him. Right now, though, there are no proxy gateways out on the map, and likewise right here for ByuN, he has also not decided to build anything out there. This will likely just be a good old Reaper opener. We do have a double gas inside of the main base here, and this is one of the things that most Terran players like to do against Hero these days. It's just a lot safer. Rather than going for the blind command center on the low ground, we go into a faster factory instead, and we just make sure that you don't even really need to be aggressive with it, but you just make sure that you get enough units out to just defend whatever Hero can throw your way. Now, it's going to be a quick Nexus right here for the Protoss, who is going to be sending out a probe for just a moment. This is the one location that I have indeed seen ByuN cheese from a bunch of times on this map already. Apparently Hero just wants to check the most likely spot. Technically there are a lot of other locations too, where ByuN could be building structures, and likewise right here for ByuN, he is also checking the one location where Hero is usually very fond of proxying. Man, this is both players trying to be very polite to one another. Yeah, very gentlemanly. Although they clearly have some trust issues after previous experiences. Command center does start up right now as well for ByuN. He does not go straight into the tech lab right here on the factory. Maybe we're gonna see that here in just a moment to get a Cyclone or two out. But for now, I guess we're gonna go into a starport. Yep, there we go. And a Hellion is going to be joining these two Reapers in just a sec. It is going to be a little bit of aggression. Something that can deal a bit of damage, but across the board, this should be something relatively easy here for Hero to defend. Hero decided to go Stalker into Sentry. Sentry is going to give him that very quick hallucinated Phoenix Scout. So this will be the first time that he will see exactly what's going on the other side of the map. Now, he's already seen the timing of the Hellion, so he will know what he is playing against regardless. But he now knows that it's not going to be like a very quick second barracks, for example, and that instead we're going to go into the good old starport. Hellion for 2 probes, not a terrible trade. Maybe we can get a third worker. I think he is gonna get it. A nice micro there by ByuN, but still pretty expensive. 2 Reapers right there together with a Hellion for just 3 probes. I don't think this is really something that Hero is gonna be too upset about. He's now transitioning to a very normal style. Yeah, and this is something that Hero does every once in a while. Like, he's known for craziness. Everybody really loves it when he goes for the weird Dark Templar proxies or, I don't know, early gateways on the other side of the map. But this is another style that Hero is just very good at. He will likely go into a third command center or a third Nexus here in just a sec. Hallucinated Phoenix will indeed see that there were already Terran units waiting on the high ground. And that is gonna, well, with that Cyclone especially, going to push this away for now. Cyclone lock-on does go on cooldown for a while. I don't really love this all too much right there by Hero. He wanted to test the waters, but he already knew precisely what was out there. I think this is kind of unfortunate. He does wait in the tall grass there. That breaks the lock-on. Cyclone needs to drive back home. Cloaking Field in the meantime coming up together with a Banshee, and there is indeed that third Nexus. He's built this third Nexus off of just 2 gateways. So the norm for Protoss versus Terran is to have at least 3. Usually, guys like Hero historically have been very fond of going 4 gateways before a third base. Now Hero is, I guess, playing around this. Oh, I love the Siege Tank here joining in as well. Micro Jackson here joining once again. Yeah, and ByuN is absolutely trashing Hero here with this first exchange. Not good at all, honestly, for Hero. This This Terran army countering is actually a big deal. At the very least, the Stalker here will see that the medevac is moving out. Yeah, I would be a little bit concerned, honestly, if I was ByuN. For maybe more Stalkers waiting to shut down this medevac. That's exactly what is going to be happening now. There is Blink available, and he does decide to blink on it. Ugh. Barely stays alive. He knew that not every single one of those Stalkers was going to be within range. Decides to use the medevac right here for some continued vision, allowing some of these other Terran units to continue shooting at their maximum range, risking the medevac itself. Thus far, though, I don't mind this spot right here for ByuN. It's not really a position that he can be super aggressive from. But so far, all of the tricks that Hero is trying to pull off with the early game Stalkers, well, it's not really worked out all too nicely. Cloak Banshee goes in now. This will be the first time that Hero realizes that that is what he's playing against. And this is painful here for the Protoss. He needs some form of detection. It is going to be coming out of the Robo facility right now, but already a bunch of workers died, together with a lot of lost mining time too. And I think we're going to see it disappear into the corner of Winter Madness here in just a moment. Yep, there we go. And this is now going to occupy a bunch of those Stalkers. They're just going to have to wait to see when that Banshee pops up a second time around. Now, there is that second Banshee that was produced as well. Hero did make a shield battery in the natural, but it's still a lot of lost mining. Okay, can we see some counterattack damage? Siege tanks here dealing friendly fire to one another. At the very least, that's something. What about the lock-on right here, though, with that Cyclone? Oh, the scan will indeed provide the vision for the Terran to snipe that Prism. And while Hero is trying to poke, he's trying to gain value. This was still really not worth his while. He's now going to lose the Zealots here, too, after that Prism. I guess a Siege tank fell, but you can see here in the Resources Lost tab that this has been a wildly efficient early game for ByuN. Now, how is ByuN going to capitalize on this lead, right? So, he's getting Stimpack right now. He's getting Combat Shields, and he's also got himself that +1 infantry attacks coming up. They're not really lined up too nicely. I think what we're having here is a Terran just playing it out passively. It's something that ByuN really likes to do lately. He used to be known for really pushing the issue, and sometimes maybe overextending. These days, he likes to send out medevacs still, just like the olden days, but I am not really too surprised if we're just going to have ByuN taking the third command center and playing this out slowly. In the meantime, though, Hero has had a third base up for a while. He's going to go into the Templar Archives right now, straight into the Storm Research. We'll probably have a fourth Nexus here before too long, though, if Hero realizes exactly what he's playing against. Observer here gets scanned, and ultimately the Hero Cyclone will die, but that one has been wildly powerful. +1 here is going to finish up together with those 2 Tech Lab upgrades. Oh, medevac, mispositioned. Nice snipe there by Hero. I don't believe that Hero is going to be able to snipe the Tech Labs, though, which is a big deal. Yeah, none of those upgrades are going to be slowed down. If he would have killed one of them, that really would have been super annoying for ByuN. At the very least, that would have made it very obvious that ByuN is likely going to be following this up in a very passive manner. Maybe he is going to test the waters. I don't know. He does have a formidable army. The problem is, very soon, we are entering the first source of splash damage here for Protoss. Zealots. Ooh, this is a big loss here for Hero if he gets all of those. Storm is not yet done. Storm is not yet done. Pick up those Templar. Hero has them safely inside of the Prism, and now it is finished, and that'll be a bad day right there for those Marines and Marauders. In the meantime, the Banshee is going in around the left. We have indeed that fourth Nexus. Good snipe there for Protoss. ByuN hoping that he can get some lucky hits here with the Widow Mines. Not going to happen, though. Easy counters. Hero now also celebrating with his own double upgrades, having 2 of those forges producing research at the same time. He's hoping he can bait this Bio army out. Yeah, you know what? As long as the Prism is nearby, you can keep storming. With the third command center set up and ready to go, ByuN has had enough resources coming in to now make the transition to Marines, Marauders, and then also a bunch of Ghosts. We have ourselves the Engineering Bay number 2 coming up together with an Armory as well. So +2 will be researching before too long, as well as a fourth command center. Now maybe this can be targeted. Ooh, he decides to hallucinate a Colossus for just a split second. Ugly fight though for Protoss across the board. Down a funnel with siege tanks helping out. Oh, not ideal, but the storms are juicy. Prism, by the way, did take a bit of a beating there as well from one of those mines. And, okay, we do feed back one of the ghosts before ultimately the Templars die. But this has all been a little bit overly aggressive from Hero. But you know what? Considering the early game, I don't really mind this spot for him as much anymore. He just needs to be very careful, right? Because the first time that this Terran army goes across the map is going to be do or die for Hero. Like, he needs to have something to keep those Terran units at bay. It's really fun to go out onto the map and to storm these armies, but in a straight-up fight, if there's not enough Templar, you don't have enough energy, I mean, you just straight-up die, and one EMP from the Ghost can just be an absolute disaster. Because of that, we're going into our second source of splash damage already. Colossi are going to be getting their ranged upgrade in just a moment, and this time around, it is real. Second robo facility also now done, and we'll probably have a fifth Nexus here in just a sec. Hero ready to be a little bit greedy again. Since the fourth command center is now done, yeah, ByuN is just not really intending on going out onto the map before maxing. He's now getting the 2-2 upgrades. Getting the +1 air weapons as well right here for the Terran, so that'll be good for the Vikings when they are ultimately needed to start gunning down all of those Colossi. Alright, we have some shield batteries together with a Nexus being set up. Hero just keeps on taking. Now, I wonder what sort of follow-up Hero is going to go for, right? So there are a few different options available. Lately, it's been very popular in the TVP meta, or I guess from the Protoss' point of view, the PVT meta, to not really follow it up with Sky-Toss too early. A lot of Protoss players just sort of stick around on a ground-toss-based army, and they like taking the whole map. Now, these first 4 or 5 bases for Terran are manageable. After that point, though, every base is tough. Winter Madness, reasonably easy, I would imagine, but it is never straightforward for Terran to expand on this map either. So these first 4, manageable. The 5th one, sort of doable as well. After that point, it kind of feels like you are spread so thin. And that is what Hero is trying to play around right now too. I would imagine he's going to stick around indeed on this ground toss army for a long time and just take all of these bases himself. Okay. He needs to be careful. Good EMP. Nice feedback as well. It's the dance of the spellcasters. Not enough Protoss here though to push through this at all. We have the secondary half of that Terran army, or maybe a third of the Terran army waiting on the left side. He was thinking about flanking these units. Decides to back off. More and more Zealots getting warped in. Honestly, this Terran army looks way better than the Protoss. Easy snipe right there on one of those Colossi. Where are all the Templar, man? We have 9 high Templar. Where are you guys? Are you guys all sitting at home? Alright. Man. I feel like the Templar are getting too much value this game. Like, ByuN is known for his control, but he is just weathering the storms. He doesn't even care. Oftentimes, you may want to stim and run out of it ASAP. Apparently, ByuN, though, disagrees with that idea so far in this game. Storm, of course, does hit flying units as well, and now the rest of the Protoss units are finally joining in. Extremely disjointed. Most of the Terran units, though, are in red HP, and because of those storms... Okay, ByuN has to back off. He needs to give his Medivacs a little bit of time to heal them back up to full. In the meantime, he fires up the +3/+3 research. And for Terran, I mean, the late game transition is not as much of a question. Maybe for Sky-Toss, you have to wonder if this is the right call, but with Terran, you can pretty much always make that transition towards Liberators and be very comfortable. More and more command centers, rather, coming up. 4 of them, actually. ByuN now also going into the good old Caduceus reactor, an upgrade that he makes use of more so than any other Terran player out there. This increases the regeneration of the medevac energy by 2. So it's a gigantic increase for the medevacs. I actually originally thought that the upgrade wasn't that big of a deal. But nowadays, with this turtle meta that we see quite a lot, it's very, very handy. It basically means that you only need like maybe 8 medevacs. And then all of your other supply can go to, well, better units that are actually nice for fighting. Ooh, nice feedbacks right there, though, or nice EMPs, rather, from the Protoss player, or from the Terran. You know what I mean. You've watched enough StarCraft. Ranged upgrade as well coming up for the lips. And armory number 2. In the meantime, though, if you look at the mini-map, Hero is slowly gobbling up the whole map. Let's do a little bit of first-person view right here for the Protoss. It's a bit of a different pace than maybe we see with other players. Look at the amount of scrolling. So a lot of StarCraft pros really try to minimize the amount of scrolling that they do. They try to use camera location control groups and hotkeys to move around. In the meantime, Hero is, he's very chaotic. Feedbacks and not even a camera location control group for that third Nexus of his. Did you see that? He didn't even bother using that one. He must have just clicked the minimap, selected the Nexus, and then used the energy recharge on the Templar. Alright, let me take control of the camera again. Maybe actually to contrast it, let's see what ByuN is looking at whilst playing this game. Now, obviously, for the fights, it's a little bit difficult to not move the camera around too much. But you can see it's more camera location control groups, right? Like, it's a little bit more... It feels more controlled. There will be a lot of paying attention as well to the minimap for both of these guys. You will try to pay attention to whether or not there's more and more units suddenly appearing. It does look a little bit more methodical here. Gotta be careful with the Vikings, though. The Vikings have a tendency to clump together. Liberators make it much more difficult for Protoss to actually be able to break through it. EMPs so far have been solid. We don't have a lot of high Templar with energy anymore, though. I think there's like 1 storm available at this point in time. Maybe 2. But look at the minimap. Hero has taken every other base. Well, with the exception of this one. In the upper right-hand corner. Interestingly enough, with 84 workers, he doesn't really have enough mining going on any of them. Gets a bunch of Archons here as well for his troubles. This is by no means a cost-efficient army here for the Protoss. What happened to this Colossus? Sorry, I just backed up for a little bit. Did the Vikings get the hit? Did that corpse just stay alive for a really... Well, did the corpse stay alive? Yeah, it must have been. Did the corpse just... Ah, there we go. It just stayed there for a little while longer. I wondered there if Hero had accidentally targeted upon one of his own units. That would be expensive. He starts up a Stargate now. So maybe he wants to make the Skytos transition eventually. Now, what's a little bit conflicting is that, yeah, Hero has all of these bases. And he's taken like 70% of the map, it feels like. But he only has 2 more or 3 more workers than the opponent. So it's... Sometimes it can kind of feel as a Protoss here that you have so much money and that Terran is basically dead in the water. But in reality, some nice storms over here. No cancel on that command center. In reality, ByuN's economy is not that much worse. ByuN also has been spending an insane amount of money on new command centers. But very soon, he will be capped out. Like, he doesn't need 20 command centers, right? I mean, it's sometimes something that ByuN does, but... At some point, he will be done with the command center count. And he will stop making them, and his bank is going to skyrocket. Okay, well, apparently that time is not yet now. Scans are going down left, right, and center. Indeed, no mineral mining on that base whatsoever. We do have a split right now of the units. ByuN decides to finally strike back and go after one of the bases off the Protoss. Base in the upper right does indeed end up going down really quickly. A couple of Zealots here slicing up whatever they can. And that will be a lot of dead probes. And right now, ByuN has significantly more workers. A recall, though, has been activated in this direction. Terran army is going to have to run back home. Stalkers, though, are going to try and see if they can intercept some of this. Good EMPs yet again. Man, Ghosts are really good units, aren't they? Oh, they've been so potent lately. Fleet beacon? Maybe it's just for Mama. Maybe he just wants to get the mothership going. Looks like another Nexus will fall on this site. The only thing I guess that the Ghosts do not have is Stimpack, but they're pretty darn good against everything else. There's another Nexus as well in the far bottom left, but... Yeah, this is expensive. Like, all of those Nexi come with a couple of pylons, maybe like a shield battery as well. It's basically like 600-700 minerals or so at a time. Minimum. All of those probes falling is pricey as well, and... In the meantime, we've got ByuN taking up planetary fortresses in key locations. Look at this. We have 4 planetaries basically side by side. I mean, how are you gonna break that open with just a bunch of zealots? Not going to happen. Nexus over here in the bottom left. Yep, easy snipe. So that is now Nexus number 3 going down in just about a minute or two. Mama indeed is coming up. Tempest production has started, well, right about right now, but it's risky. Like, this is now a Tempest without any upgrades. I don't know if it's really even worth it. Look at the minimap now, too. ByuN is just scanning left, right, and center, effectively, well, disabling the Fog of War for a little bit, getting some of those Terran map hacks active. Okay. New Nexi, though, are being rebuilt. The entire bottom left-hand corner is being gobbled up by ByuN, who does indeed fire up more command centers of his own. Look at this. He's got a 3rd planetary. Yeah, okay. I mean, Hero usually loves sending those zealot run-bys left, right, and center. Difficult to do that when you're going up against that many planetaries. Huge EMP right there on all of the Templar. Spicy plays right here from ByuN. He basically said, yo, you can have some of the map for some of the time, but I'll take him back before you actually begin mining. Don't worry about it. Yeah, he's sprinkling in planetaries like the Protoss players enjoy building photons, man. Tactical nuke right now. Also researching here for ByuN. He's slowly getting all of his flying upgrades for all of the mechanical units. He's now up to 9 planetaries. 9! I've never seen anybody make that many planetaries before. I wonder if that's gonna bite him in the butt, though, because it means that he will not have nearly as many resources coming in. Now, I say that, he still has 9 orbital commands as well. There's still a couple command centers that don't have anything on top of them either. We have a few more building over here in the bottom left, and now we have that mothership indeed coming into motion, allowing this Protoss army to quickly transport towards the bottom left, and that is 2 command centers down the drain. In the meantime, though, there is a hit squad as well of bio units for the Terran, killing a Nexus. Fair enough. Vikings will be able to take care of the Mama ship if they decide to stay around for just a moment longer. 26 HP is not a lot. But you know what? It's more than 0. Looks like the Tempest here are going to fall pretty quickly. Even though there's not a lot of anti-air in this army. Actually, I say that. There's like 4 or 5 ghosts and then a couple of Marines. Very little anti-air. Killing the robo facilities, though, is really annoying. This Terran army has been written off already. ByuN willing to just give it up and snipe whatever he can on his way out. It's a bit of a bloodbath, but it's good enough. New command centers. Building yet again. What happened to that 3rd base over here? Wasn't there another command center? I guess it wasn't quite done yet. Either way, I think that means we can make more planetaries. You know what this game needs, ByuN? More planetaries. 1 Atari, 2 Atari. We currently are up to 8 Atari. Previously, we were at 9 Ataris. Soon we're going to be at 7. Mama is hanging off to the side, taking a little bit of a nap. New Nexus coming up as well over here in the bottom left, which is kind of interesting because Terran is still occupying this piece of terrain. That will be another Nexus that needs to be cancelled. Hero has got a lot of minerals in the bank. This Terran army just looks so much better to me, man. Like, I like this type of army for Terran way more than I like this type of army for Protoss. At least in the hands of a skilled Terran, it just feels like Terran can get way more value out of these units. Mama, by the way, died. Stepmother ship will be coming up in a moment. Don't worry about it. She's just as good as the first one, I'm sure. Are we actually going to try and break this open? That's so many planetaries. Hero, are we actually going to try? Little hit squad of Terran units moving through yet again. Targets down to pylon to get rid of the static defense ASAP. Looks like indeed another planetary did fall. ByuN has effectively been making 1 command center for every minute in the game. Oh, he decides to recall towards the bottom left. Jeez, he really wanted to get rid of those units. Looks like there was a photon cannon attacking their command center over here too. Mama just about to come up. Yeah, the problem is, right? If you want to go and play Skytos, you kind of have to go and play Skytos. This middle-of-the-road Skytos approach with a few Tempests here and there and no air upgrades at all against fully maxed out Vikings, it just feels horrible to me. Hero right now is broke. Like, he's got minerals, but he needs to take some actual gas. ByuN is honestly playing some fantastic StarCraft. I have seen ByuN fizzle out quite a bit in like the last year in these exact types of games. But he's decided to play the passive game, right? Like, it was Hero who tried being aggressive earlier on in the match. ByuN said no. And honestly, at this point, he is doing a really solid job. Just controlling the late game. Slowly gobbling up the map. Man, so expensive. Oh, Liberator isn't even gonna die. There are so many little skirmishes happening, though, all over the map that it's difficult to pay attention to all things. ByuN makes sure that he does not walk into the storm. Yeah, and that's another Nexus down. You know what I think is really making a big difference in these types of games? Is the fact that the Ghost is 2 supply again. Like, we've had so many games now where ByuN has had like 10 to maybe 20 Ghosts or so, and that's basically like another 10 supply, right? That is opened up for more Vikings, more Liberators, and all the rest of it. Like, you effectively get like, I don't know, 10 more Marines in your maxed out army, which is kind of significant. Now, unless we YOLO into Ghosts. Excellent stuff, though. I think what we do over here is we land the Planetary and just kill this Nexus just like that. Mama is waiting off to the right. She's prepared for another recall. Mama! Mama, wake up! Mama, no! Ah. I'm sorry, Mama. You're dead. Yeah, sorry. ByuN hates mothers. Yeah, it is what it is. In the meantime, ooh, we have the Terran little hit squad over here, backing up again to the Planetary. I'm a little afraid here that Hero is just going to fall apart now. Like, he's out of cash. ByuN has had very little intention of actually fighting with his full army on the other side of the map. He's just picking off freebies and sending out little hit squads of units to kill bases. He has never actually gone for a full attack to the other side of the map, but I don't think he really needs to. I really don't understand the idea, though, behind this, like, weird Skytles transition that Hero is doing. Like, he knows how many Vikings there are. He knows that they're fully upgraded, but yet he keeps making motherships and he keeps sprinkling in a couple of Tempests. Like, they just don't do anything. I don't quite understand the logic behind it. There's plenty of Vikings available. Like, there's 23 Vikings out right now. They could repair, or they could use a little bit of a repair, I guess. But he can just one-shot any of the Tempests with ease. He almost one-shot the mothership. New Planetaries coming up, by the way, in the bottom left. Okay. I mean, if the win condition right now for Hero is to cross his fingers and hope that ByuN clumps up all of the Vikings and gets them stormed, I don't think that's a great win condition. I don't think that's an ideal way to play this at all. He's trying to target down the Vikings to the best of his abilities. The EMPs are making it difficult, though, for this Protoss army to get close. Another Nexus will bite the dust. Hero's still maxed out, but it kind of feels like it's going nowhere. He needs to get that into a slightly better position. There we go. An occasional scan in the upper right. Not so bad. I guess the Tempests are like the only good thing that he has to start sniping those libs, but as long as the Vikings can get a volley off, they will kill them. Ooh, Archons, though, do get a couple of good hits in as well. They do deal splash damage, but that's yet again a lot of those Skytles units down the drain. Scan over there to reveal exactly where that army is located. Scans over here as well to continue sniping the probes. Right now, the Liberator decides to get a little bit more ambitious. Get a little bit closer. Double Planetary in the bottom left. Load of missile turrets too. Hero is still making units. Like, he's got 44 Zealots. But what in the world are 44 Zealots going to do against 10 Planetary Fortresses? I guess they can kill one of them. Okay, that's one. Congratulations, you killed one of them. Whoop-de-doo. We're now up to 4 dead planetaries and 10 that are... No, 9 that are currently alive. Yeah, ByuN is cruising. Oh, the snipes are juicy. You know what we need to do, though? We should repair these Vikings. Like, they have been in low HP for way too long. But ByuN is just hovering all of the pew-pew-pew-pews. With the scans. Oh, the ghosts are out of energy. No more pew-pews. Hero's gonna try and get some more mining going on in the upper right-hand corner. But I've got a feeling that this game is heading to no man's land. We have a lot of static defense over here. That's nice. But it's these liberators that have been tearing the mineral lines apart. GG gets cold. It is indeed ByuN who wins game number 1. Now, how many planetaries did he actually have? So 4 of them died. Yeah, that's 4. 4 planetaries died, 9 that he produced, and then 1 that was on the production tab. So we have 14 planetaries. Not bad. Alrighty, game number 2. We find ourselves on Mothership. ByuN looking absolutely dominant in the first map of this series. I really didn't like the late game from Hero very much there. Like, obviously, you always wonder, right? Like, where did it go wrong? Because Hero had so much of the map. But it kind of felt to me like he was split between a bunch of different playstyles. So, what we see a lot is this, like, gateway man style, right? Where you focus on, like, mass zealot, mass stalker. But usually with that style, you go really quick double upgrades. You make sure you get a stupid amount of probes. And you just send in wave after wave after wave of units. Now, Hero was playing that a little bit with the amount of zealots that he was producing, but not really. Alternative styles that we see is, for example, a big focus on robo units. That is what Hero did initially, right? When we first got to the late game, he was making a ton of Immortals, a ton of Colossus, but we didn't see any Disruptors and any of the rest of it. So, kind of felt like a middle-of-the-road approach to me. And then he started making Skytos units. That's like the 3rd late-game unit composition that we see from Protoss quite a lot, where you just make an insane Skytos ball, but he never got Skytos upgrades. Like, he knew that ByuN had, like, 30 Vikings. What is that ever going to do? How are you ever going to achieve anything with those Tempests? It felt a little bit conflicted. The entire late-game playstyle right there from Hero did feel a little bit conflicted, and it may be one of those spots where, you know, you stubbornly believe that you can just go ahead and win if you just hit the opponent hard enough. But you are ultimately just crossing your fingers and hoping that the opponent dances into a Psy Storm, or in the case of Disruptors, that you're just gonna get the lucky purification hit. Not the case, though. ByuN played that out really well. You know what? He ended up winning the match without ever truly going across. Like, Hero was effectively playing survival there rather than trying to win. And, I mean, he was sending in little hit squads here and there, I suppose, but when he noticed the amount of planetaries, I think we should have shifted gears. Maybe that was the original plan, right? Maybe it was actually... Because of the amount of planetaries, maybe he was forced to do the thing that StarCraft players hate. Maybe he was forced to do... Bear with me, okay? Maybe he was forced to think. Ugh! Thinking in the middle of a game? What do you do when your Terran opponent has, like, 20 planetaries? What do you... Okay, maybe 10 planetaries at that point in time. What do you do? Do you still just send out the Zealots? Do you go into, like... a Tempest transition and kind of half-ass it? Like, wait, how do you proceed? I wonder if next time we see Hero in a spot like that, he will indeed have come up with an answer. But I think a little bit of everything is rarely the right strategy to play. Compliments, though, to ByuN, who's now going to start off this harassment yet again. Gets a little probe scout, a little probe snipe. The Cyclone was wildly efficient at the beginning of the previous game. He did end up dying there for the greater good eventually. But not quite achieving all the stuff that he really aimed for. Ooh. Dang. Unlucky Reaper. Okay, Oracle now ready to move out. It's going to be a Skytles opener this time around here for Hero. A little bit of Stargate shenanigans. Second Oracle as well. I was wondering if he was going to go Oracle into Phoenixes, but so far we go Oracles into Oracles, and now he's also still trying to attack. Cyclones, though, are so good against these early Adepts. Yeah, just not a lot you can do. He could have killed one more, I guess, but I really wanted to make sure he had some HP available for when the Oracle ultimately gets across the map. Oh! Hero never deactivated Pulsar Beam! Ah! Well, that is ridiculously sloppy. This Oracle now arrives on the other side of the map without energy. Okay, at least he hold positions it over here on this high ground. So that's something. But this is not ideal. Alright, instead we're gonna go into a third Nexus, but this entire early game here from Hero has fallen flat on its face. Oh, he just even, as soon as I scrolled the camera away, he lost the Oracle. He's thinking about building up a third base right here, it seems. Second Oracle, though, does appear now. We do have another Cyclone available, too. Oh, can he get that one? Can he get that one? Does he have a... Oh, yeah, he gets the final hit. You cannot pass the force field on this map. An absolute disaster here for Hero. Forced to now pull the probes as well to try and defend against this little attack. Nice micro yet again, of course, by ByuN, as to be expected. Oh, another Stalker dies right before the shield battery finishes up. You know what we can do now as Terran? Pull the boys. I mean, we see Maru pulling the boys all the time. No, dude, we don't need this. It's like the last thing we need, ByuN. We see Maru pulling the boys all the time. This is a pull the boys situation in my mind. I mean, you don't really need to. But I'm a fan. I mean, it would be highly entertaining. You know who wins with SCV pools? The fans. It's always the fans. Hero decides to fire up a third Nexus now. It's a little bit greedy, though, because he doesn't really have that much. ByuN's alternate plan here could just be to go, yeah, indeed, into the good old Stimpak, the good old combat shields, and then also the +1 infantry attacks. These three upgrades are now lined up to finish right around the same time. Just like a previous game, though, ByuN does have the choice to just play defensively instead. Like, he can build up a third command center, land it over at the third base location, and just let the Protoss player do whatever you like. But I don't think it's the right call. Like, when you get this perfect in early game, I mean, he did lose quite a few units of his own too, but 8 probes and 2 oracles is really expensive and not something that Protoss can, generally speaking, just give up. It's also obviously a pretty late blink follow-up now. Charge is only going to be done in a few minutes. I've got a feeling that we can certainly see our Terran player go across the map here with everything that he's got. Bunker, by the way, does get sniped. ByuN decided to just make that bunker because of those Stalkers. More and more Stalkers are joining in the fray. Soon, though, ByuN is going to have all the upgrades done. They're going to finish within about 10 seconds of one another. And while the Stalker dancing is good... Ooh, Cyclones. Okay, will indeed pull back, just barely in time. Stimpak already activated. Cannot keep running forever. But he does get a Stalker or 2 for his troubles. Cyclone is going to be... Yeah, the medevac here with the 2 Cyclones in it is going to be joining up with the main army. Ooh, Siege Tank actually sieged up. Kind of cheeky. You never really expect that here as the Protoss. Storm on the back it is, by the way, for Hero. He is desperate to get both of these upgrades done. The Terran army is marching. It's a slow march because of those Stalkers. But if he manages to hit this before Psystorm is done... Oh, this is a disaster here for Hero. This game has just not really been going anywhere. Gateways get unpowered. He needs to pull the trigger right now. Storm is done, however. He decides to jump onto the Siege Tank. The first Storm is decent. Second one, likewise, also decent. We have one more Storm available, I think? No, we don't. He just barely didn't have the energy. Decided to go for a feedback before merging in the Archon. ByuN is just sending everything that he's got right now straight across the map. Third Command Center was fired up on the back of it. Seemed to me like ByuN was ready to play another macro game. But then he accidentally won. Hate it whenever that happens, you know? You kind of want to just play the macro game, move with a little attack out onto the map, sort of test the waters, and then you win the game. Ugh. Beautiful series, though, across the board. ByuN certainly the better player in this particular best of 3. GG.